It's that time of year again. And as parents, it's natural to start thinking about New Year's resolutions, maybe even for our kids. But what if the way we've always done it is, well, all wrong? Today, we're going to dive into a totally new way to think about goals, one that's way less about just getting things done and a whole lot more about connection and real growth.
So, if you're mulling over resolutions for your child, I get it. You're probably hoping to teach them some amazing things, right? Like self reflection, confidence, maybe building some healthy habits. And look, those are fantastic instincts. It makes perfect sense to want to channel all that new year energy into something positive. But there's a little catch.
The way we typically approach resolutions, making some big grand goal on January 1st, it doesn't even work that well for most adults, let alone for kids. It can so easily lead to frustration and feeling like a failure. So it makes you wonder, what if the problem isn't the goal itself, but the entire approach?
Right. So, is this whole resolution thing about pressure or is there some real potential here? Yeah, they can absolutely feel like just another demand, another chore on the list. But they also hold this incredible power if we reframe the process. We can actually turn them into a powerful tool for building skills that last a lifetime.
Here's a quick look at why the old way so often just falls apart. It's all about the finish line, not the journey itself. And when a kid doesn't hit that really big, lofty goal, it can be a real blow to their self esteem. But here's the thing, it's almost never about a lack of motivation. It's the flawed framework that we're accidentally using. So, what's the alternative? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in our mindset. We have to move away from being the manager of our child's goals and instead become their partner in growth. And I'm telling you, this one little shift changes absolutely everything. This quote from Dr. Ross Greene is pretty much the foundation for this whole new way of thinking. Kids do well if they can. It's so simple, but so powerful. It basically assumes that kids want to succeed. And if they're struggling, it's not because they're trying to be difficult, it's because they're missing a skill. Our job then isn't to punish, but to figure out what's getting in their way and help them build that skill. And this is exactly what that shift looks like in real life. The old view sees challenging behavior and thinks they're doing that on purpose. But this new collaborative view sees that same behavior as a signal, like a flare going up, that our child needs help, maybe with managing their feelings, or being more flexible, or just solving a problem. We get to shift from being a rule enforcer to a skill builder. This whole approach is really rooted in something called conscious parenting. And here's the kicker, it starts with us, the parents. It's all about becoming more aware of our own triggers and reactions so we can stop some of those patterns we might have learned growing up. When we can stay calm and regulated ourselves, we create this space where our kids feel safe, heard, and truly valued. Okay, so it's one thing to have the right philosophy, right? But how does this actually translate into action? What do you do in the moment? Well, this next part is all about a practical toolkit for having those productive conversations, especially when big feelings are running high. Think of the 3 R's as your roadmap. First up, regulate. You simply cannot reason with a dysregulated brain. It's just not possible. So the very first step is always to help your child feel calm and safe. Second, relate. This is where you connect and show them you understand how they're feeling. And only after they feel calm and connected can you move to that third step, reason. That's when you can finally problem solve together. Now, this is a super, super critical distinction to make. You can say something like, wow, I can see you're really frustrated about having to clean your room. That validates their emotion. It doesn't mean you approve of them throwing their toys everywhere. By validating their feelings first, you build trust and emotional safety, which is absolutely essential before you can solve any problem. The collaborative problem-solving model gives us a nice, simple 3-step process. First is the empathy step, which just means truly listening to understand their side of the story. Second, you define adult concerns, where you calmly and clearly state your perspective. And finally, the invitation step. This is the magic part, where you say something like, I wonder if there's a way we can solve this together. And then you brainstorm solutions that work for everybody. All right, so let's take this whole collaborative mindset and apply it directly to those New Year's goals. How do we take a one-time resolution that, let's be honest, usually gets forgotten by February and transform it into a really meaningful family tradition that actually makes you closer? So, check this out. A Harvard study found something really fascinating. It showed that only about 7% of families treat New Year's resolutions as a formal, thought-out ritual. Just 7%. This tiny number points to this massive untapped opportunity to create a family tradition that's not only fun, but also deeply connecting. And if you're wondering what that even looks like in real life, here's a quote from someone in that study. See how simple it is? It's about getting together, looking back on the year, and dreaming a little bit about the next one. It's not complicated. It's all about the shared experience.
So, how can you build your own ritual? Honestly, it could be anything that feels right for your family. Maybe it's a special walk, or you just talk about your hopes for the year. Maybe you make a family vision board together, start a gratitude jar, or just cook a special meal and share your thoughts. The key is just making it a dedicated, positive, and recurring experience that everyone looks forward to.
The really beautiful thing about this approach is that it goes so far beyond just checking a box on some resolution list. What you're actually building here is something much more profound, much more lasting.
When you shift your focus from the outcome to the process, you start to realize the real prize isn't just the completed goal. It's the character traits and the life skills your child develops along the way. It's all about who they're becoming through the experience.
By setting goals together in this mindful, collaborative way, you're teaching them how to reflect on their own lives, how to build real confidence from small wins, how to form healthy habits, and how to look at challenges with a growth mindset. I mean, come on, these are the skills that will serve them for the rest of their lives.
So let's just completely reframe this whole tradition. What if the real goal for this year isn't about what our kids achieve, but about who we become together? What if we use this as a chance every single year to deepen our connection, to practice empathy, and to grow right alongside them? Now, that is a resolution that can truly change a family.